he's going to have a much better chance now to make the roster. But he's very firmly behind Jalen Reagor, who we can kind of pivot here to him. He had the play of the day, according to several people, and the coaching staff, Justin Herbert, everybody cannot stop talking about Jalen Reagor. And I know that Alex Insdorf is going to hate that we are going to talk about him this much this offseason, but
sure.
He's consistently showing up in regards to the press conferences. And now, he has these plays where, if he can stretch the defense out, make contested catch situations happen, even if he's not like an X receiver, I think obviously Jalen Reagor is the main beneficiary from a roster standpoint to Mike Williams retiring.
Yeah, it opens it up for him 100%. Not that he is replacing Mike Williams. God, I hope that's not the case. But now, where he was maybe a roster bubble guy before, we kind of flirted with the idea of keeping him on the roster, just couldn't make it work. Now it's like, yeah, he's making the roster. At sometimes, with the NFL, I think Simi Fehoko the previous year was like he joined like middle of the season or towards kind of the end of the year because of all the injuries to Mike Williams and whatnot. Stuck around.
Signed him off the Cowboys practice squad.
Yeah, then made the 53-man roster the next year. It really kind of seems like, and even maybe more so with this year with Jalen Reagor, jumped in last year. Yes, he had his bad moments, had some good moments, but he just jumped in on the fly, was way more involved than he should have been. But that was just the nature of what happened last year. And sometimes I know it's Jalen Reagor. I know that he was the guy before Justin Jefferson. I know it was not a great start to the career. I know we're hoping that Quentin Johnson does not have the same start to his career, or at least the same finish to his career as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to take the feelings out of it and just look at the facts. And he has been running with the ones. He has been healthy, which is more than I can say for some players, of course. Yeah. And he's making plays. Like, yeah, sure. Would I love if a young player would be awesome if Keandre Lambert-Smith were ahead of him on the depth chart and we had 4 years of like really solid wide receiver 4 play from him. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But right now, Jalen Reagor's getting the reps. He's earning the trust. He's been healthy. He's making plays. He made the play of the day today. And yes, I know we said, shorts and whatnot for Keandre Lambert-Smith. Got to say the same thing here. Yeah, sure. It's not a live practice. It's not, an actual game against the Chiefs, but he's making plays. And people last year miss like, Donald Parham's going to make the roster and Simi Fehoko is not. But that's just kind of like what you want. You have to look at what the Chargers are telling you with some of these reps and what's going on and what they're saying. And when everything checks every box, yeah, like that's where Jalen Reagor's at right now. And again, do I think he's like an awesome receiver that's going to change this team? No. But right now, he's like that roster bubble guy that we should be cheering for to make the roster because he's earning it.
Yeah, and if he continues to perform like this, then I think he's definitely going to work his way in onto the roster. And trust with your quarterback is a big thing, man. And for whatever you might think about, Jalen Reagor, Justin Herbert goes to him in contested catch situations. And I understand he fumbled one against the Cardinals, and that sucks. But,
he was open.
2 games, he was open, and he made the catch. And it was kind of a free play. But 2 weeks later, they play the Saints, and he goes right back to him, contested catch, and has potentially like one of the 3 best catches of the year of any Chargers pass catcher. And I think stuff like that matters a lot to Justin. If I throw you back shoulder fade ball and you make a great catch and you give it your all to go out there, that matters a lot. Ryan Ficken, being connected to him from their days in Minnesota, where he knows that Jalen Reagor can play special teams, where I don't have to rely on Keandre Lambert-Smith as a rookie to play special teams. He knows he can play Jalen Reagor on special teams. That matters when it comes to making the back end of the roster. Yeah. It would be awesome, like you mentioned, if a younger guy would take the spot from him, but it hasn't happened. I don't even think we've heard a peep of Brendan Rice with the second team offense, let alone the first team offense.
No.
Keandre Lambert-Smith is starting to get there, so we'll see what happens there. But Justin Herbert trusts Jalen Reagor. He spoke very glowingly about him, and I know that like Herbert speaks glowingly about everybody. But when he mentions specific things and like route running and he's open and like he, it's not just like, oh, he's a great teammate and he's a great dude. Like when he talks about specifics, that matters. And him mentioning the speed, I think, is very real. And people mentioning like, oh, do we trust Jalen Reagor in the playoffs? I don't know, man. Like, I don't think so. But when it comes to being the sixth receiver in the room, like the way that he's had his offseason go, plus his special teams potential, I think it matters a lot. And it's going to come down to, I think, like, do they want to keep the six receivers for sure? Or is Reagor a practice squad stash kind of player? But I would expect at some point throughout the season, Jalen Reagor is going to be targeted in some kind of clutch situation or in some kind of, second half 2-minute drill or whatever. Like, he's going to be around. It's just, to me, a matter of, do the Chargers want him on the 53, or is he kind of a practice squad stash kind of guy? But I think stock up is definitely fair for Jalen Reagor right now.
Yeah, and maybe he's not a true boundary big X, but maybe he's just a sacrificial X who runs really fast. And they think, hey, you know what? Trey Harris at Z is just working a lot better. We can't put him at X, but we love him at Z. Well, are we putting Quentin Johnson at the X? Like, I guess we could, but like, I don't know. Reagor's got that speed. Herbert trusts him to throw the ball down the field, down the boundary to him. Like, maybe that's the way they do things this year. I don't know. Obviously, we're just spitballing. It's one day, but it's good to talk about these things now so we're not all surprised when he makes the roster, because I think right now he's not locked in to make the roster because they could easily sign a player and take that dream away. But as of right now, yeah, he's making it.
Yeah. For me, from a 53 standpoint, like, Mike Williams retiring does definitely change things. Like, I think you could stand to keep the 5 on the active roster and then stash Reagor on the practice squad. Whereas before it was like, they're keeping the 6 because I just don't think you can stash somebody like Keandre Lambert-Smith. So that part might change things. Again, I think right now I probably would have Reagor making the roster just based off of everything we have. But there is a chance maybe they can kind of work some things around here, keep the 5. Again, they could sign somebody else, etc. I think the Chargers, they're in a tough spot right now from a development standpoint where they got to play these guys. But, I think we would all kind of love a veteran X receiver to give them some flexibility.
Yeah. Although you mentioned that Daniel Popper said Jalen Reagor might have been banged up after that touchdown catch.
Yeah, so according to Daniel Popper, he catches that touchdown, and then he gets looked at by the trainers and worked the rest of the practice off to the side. So it didn't seem like it was serious. And I think this is kind of the problem of, like, why you don't want somebody like Jalen Reagor doing the contested catch work, because he is a smaller wide receiver. But yeah, apparently he's a little banged up after that catch. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Popper did not seem to think that it was super serious, but he did not practice the rest of the day after that catch.
Yeah, and they'll be very cautious if he doesn't practice tomorrow. I'm not panicking. Just don't retire.
Don't retire. Oh, that would be horrible.
That's the bar right now.
That's the bar. Just at least continue practicing, please.
Yeah, please. Thank you.